Om Jnanatamannasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilatam Yena Tasmat. I was born the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master has kindly opened my eyes with the shining torchlight of transcendental knowledge. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances so to speak. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, we started a wonderful verse last week, 8th chapter, entitled Attaining the Supreme, text number 28, which is the final verse of the chapter. And from memory, we didn't finish the purport, right? We started talking about Varnashram. Yeah, which is a big subject, because the second paragraph talks about Varnashram Dharma, all the different duties and occupations and everything. So we were talking about that. So we'll read the verse again, the Sanskrit, the translation, then continue the purport. Vedeshu yagneshu tapashu chaiva.
Vedeshu yagneshu tapashu chaiva.
Daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam.
Daneshu yat punya pradishtam.
Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva.
Atyeti tat sarvamidam vidyatva.
Yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam.
Yogi param sthana upaiti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the result derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifice, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches supreme eternal abode. Why can't the Krishna will keep it not in Sanskrit? It's like very difficult to be a simple language. Why is it all Sanskrit?
Because Sanskrit is the language of gods. Hello.
Yeah,
I'm struggling.
That's right. That's why Prabhupada came and translated to English.
Yeah.
And then from there, it got translated to Hindi, to Gujarati. I mean, Bhagavad Gita is like, I think, in most of the languages. I think it's in most of the languages. It's in Spanish and Turkish.
I bought the Arabic one for my husband.
Okay.
But it's nicely sitting on top of the shelf. That's it.
Make sure don't get dust.
Emanating good vibes in the house. But yeah, it's in most languages now. But the Sanskrit is kept there just to show us that this is...
Did you read Quran, Deepa?
I actually have a copy. Gail has read it.
You didn't read Quran. How can you expect your husband to read Gita?
I do refer. So it's like a reference material. So I read the Gita, then I read the Quran.
Next time, read the Quran and tell us one or two good lines in next class, okay? That's your homework.
Goshan, you're getting us off track.
Gail can do that for you.
This verse is saying that you don't need to do anything else other than devotional service. So you don't need to go to any other process, any other kind of religious text or anything. This is the ultimate, to be engaged in bhakti yoga and devotional service. And you don't miss out on anything, because that's what bereft means. Bereft means, miss out. So, but you're not bereft of the results of any other pious activity. Remember last week we talked about all these processes mentioned, that they're pious activities that are purifying and uplifting. So what's mentioned? Vedesu, studying the Vedas. Yagneshu, performing sacrifices. Tapashu, undergoing austerities. Daneshu, giving charity. So these are all pious activities. Punya. Punya means pious. And phala, punya phala. So the phala means the fruits or the results. So they give very good results, very pious results. Means if you perform these different activities, study the Vedas, sacrifices, austerities, give charity, and so forth, then you'll get a better birth in your next life. You'll get a better birth. You'll get a beautiful body, heaps of knowledge, a lot of, wonderful food, wonderful relationships, beautiful people in the heavenly kind of environment like that, long life. So these are the results, the phala. And people get mad after these punya phala, these results of pious activities. So they do these things. I'm talking about mainly Indians know about this. Of course, Westerners don't even know that there's a next life. So, most Westerners are completely ignorant. They just sex, drugs, rock and roll, eat, drink and be merry, and next life they go to hell. But for someone that's a bit more enlightened, following the Vedic culture a bit, then they get very excited to get a better birth. They understand the reincarnation is there, the soul's eternal and it's reincarnating, and they want a better birth in the material world. However, a devotee is not interested in any of these punya phala, these good results. Why? Because we know that there's results far, 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 even more better than that. Where, forget about living for 10,000 years with the demigods in heaven, you can live eternally, with Krishna in a spiritual body, which never gets old, never gets sick, never dies, never has to take birth. So why would we want to just get some temporary results and go to heaven? So devotees are not attracted to any of these other activities. Of course, part of devotional service is we do study the Vedas. We're studying the Vedas now. Bhagavad Gita is like the essence of the Vedas, like that. But the purpose why we study the Vedas is to help us to understand Krishna and to love Krishna. That's the ultimate purpose why a devotee does everything. A devotee only does activities that are going to help us develop love for Krishna, to understand Krishna and love Krishna. But a materialistic person might study the Vedas because he's thinking that it can help me get a better birth in the material world and go to heaven, go to Swarga, and I can enjoy with the Apsaras and the Gandharvas and drink Soma Ras and everything like that. So two people doing the same thing, the impersonalist is studying the Vedas and the devotee is studying the Vedas, but two completely different objectives. Their objective is to get a better birth in the material world. Our objective is to go back home, back to Godhead. And we perform sacrifices too. Do you know what sacrifice a devotee does? What's the main sacrifice?
We do fasting for Krishna. Sacrifice.
Chanting is
Chanting.
That's more about an austerity. I'd say that would fit in the category of austerity, fasting, yeah. Yeah, chanting. Deepa, you said chanting, didn't you, Deepa?
Bhakti Mala did first. She
Bhakti
said it
Mala.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
How come the chanting is a sacrifice?
Yeah, because sacrifice means an activity that you do to please God. That's a sacrifice. It's not to please yourself. So that's the ultimate purpose of sacrifice, is to do something to please God.
It's like you gotta be pleased. You go into Krishna Loka, Bhagavad Dham, that's why you're doing chanting. So you want like a purpose for that. It's not a sacrifice. It's like you want something out of that. That's why you're chanting.
But you could also
people
watching TV instead of chanting, so that you're sacrificing your time.
That's sacrifice. Okay.
Yeah, so sacrifice means you give up one activity to do another activity. Just like a family person, could be sitting there watching TV, but they go out to make money to provide for their family, like that. So you could be watching TV, but you do something else, like that. So you sacrifice one thing to do another thing. So our principle of sacrifice is we do those things that Krishna really likes. And the thing that he likes the most is chanting. So actually the whole life of a devotee is sacrifice, but the main sacrifice is chanting Hare Krishna. And that's recommended in the Vedas for Kali Yuga, is to chant the holy name. It's called Hari Nam Sankirtan. So that's the recommended sacrifice activity to please God in Kali Yuga. In Dwapara Yuga, what was the recommended sacrifice?
Yagya.
Oh, that is the sacrifice.
No. Dwapara Yuga. The previous age, what was the recommended sacrifice?
Is it meditation, but silent meditation?
No, that was... You got different ages. You're both correct, but not for that age.
I can't remember either.
So sacrifice was fire sacrifices was recommended for Treta Yuga. Meditation was recommended for Satya Yuga. Temple worship was recommended for Dwapara Yuga. The previous age, what was recommended was temple worship. Then before that, Treta Yuga was recommended fire sacrifices. And before that, Satya Yuga was recommended going to the forest and meditating. Silent meditation, doing austerity.
Deepa, you better go to Satya Yuga. That's why it's in your mind. Just leave everything. Just go. In the Mount Everest, one of the cave, sit down.
Yeah. Why you keep telling other people should do this and that? You should do it. Come on, let me see you go to the forest.
Same time, I'm telling to myself as well. So when you tell others, you tell to yourself too.
What's that forest that Josh keeps going to? It's north.
He goes to Gloucester.
I've been there actually. I went there actually last month and then stayed there near the river. There's a Manning River. Here the river council has got a free that amenity, so people can stay there. So whenever it comes out of free, my sixth sense come out free. I'm Indian.
Is that anywhere near the hot springs? Because I know there's some hot springs somewhere in that.
No, it's near the Manning River. It's going through all the way to the Gloucester. So and then you have to give it a council a booking, like a free. There you can stay there. So and then it's a very good town, Gloucester. But I don't know what's his purpose. Josh, he's into the that yoga and so only he knows that Krishna.
He's actually writing another book at the moment. Because Helen, you remember Helen Abhay Prabhu from the Bhakti Tree? Yeah. So Helen still does yoga with Josh. And she said he's just taken 3 weeks off to go and write another book. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Have you read the first book? I haven't read the first book even.
No, I haven't read.
I've read some of it. It's very nice. He writes well. Yeah. And he knows his stuff. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So sacrifice. So Prabhupada said to the devotees that my motto, my whole life, was everything for Krishna, nothing for me. But that's a life of sacrifice, not just when we chant, a devotee sacrifices, but he's giving up doing all the activities for his own pleasure and doing all the activities for Krishna's pleasure. His whole life devotees' whole life is dedicated to pleasing Krishna and all the activities. And Prabhupada said that he didn't even want to take sannyas, but he said that my spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, came to me several times in dreams and ordered me to take sannyas. So he sacrificed his desire to just, be a vanaprastha, to retired person, to take sannyas, which was, Prabhupada said the idea to him when he was a grihastha and then a vanaprastha was horrible, he said. Horrible.
But it's so hard.
A lot of the modern...
How do you just... Yeah, it's hard to just leave everything and everyone that... I've thought about it so much and it's just...
Yeah.
That, especially, but when we came back... Yeah, when we came back from our first trip, Gail, when Abhay and not Gail, Bhaktimala, when we went with Keshava Prabhu, after that, I was so often just consumed with like this feeling. I just wanted to leave everything and go back, like go to Mayapur and see what service I can do there. And I mean, I used to talk sometimes to my husband, and he said, if you really want to go, just go. But then this other part will come up and say, but what about the family and what is going to happen? And I'll be there and all of you are here.
Deepa, one day,
It's
when
just
you
such a...
depart on this planet, you will leave the family behind. Is that true?
Yeah.
So what's the difference then?
Maybe when the boys are married.
Yeah, when the boys are grown up, that's the normal.
They are grown up, but yeah,
But
it's
when
just...
they're married and out of the house, you might get a chance then to.
Then she waiting for the grandchildren.
Yeah, that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just...
But yeah, Prabhupada said when his Guru Maharaj kept telling him in dreams to take sannyas, he said the idea was horrible to him. If you look at a lot of modern day Western devotees, they're like putting their hand up to take sannyas and like lining up, put their name down on a list, and they have to wait so many years and like that. They're so eager. But if you look at Prabhupada, I mean, he wasn't going after, taking sannyas. A lot of Westerners, we have a bit of a wrong idea about sannyas. We think it's, if you're a sannyasi, I can get more respect and I can get the best prasadam. I get to travel all around, and I have all the disciples will pay for my plane tickets and everything, and I can go around the world, and wherever I go, people will bow down to me and respect me and everything, and I'll get all the best mahaprasad and like that. And I'll have lots of slaves. I mean disciples.
Slaves.
But I'm just joking a little bit. But still, these ideas can creep in, and we sort of, a Western male can be enthusiastic to take sannyas. But Prabhupada, for him, it was like a horrible idea. But he sacrificed that because his spiritual master wanted it. So he did it. And even the idea of going to the West, a lot of Indians, of course, nowadays, they're lining up to go to America and so forth. But Prabhupada didn't want to go. It said for the first year after he went to America, every week he would go back to the port, the dock where he arrived, and looked back towards India. He was missing India so much. Because in India, people are more civilized, sorry to say to the Westerners, more cultured.
Not only that, because he spent 70 years, 65 years in India, means if he comes at age of 19, different ball game. But
I mean, and where was he when he left? He was in Vrindavan, which is the best place for spiritual life. He was living, we went there actually on our trip, to Radha Damodar Mandir. And
where he's writing all the Bhagavatam mentioned there.
Yeah, he started writing the Bhagavatam there. He looked out his window, he could see the deities, and he could see Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, he could see from his window and the deities, it's like it said that place is the center of Vrindavan. Not only it's Vrindavan, but it's like the central part of Vrindavan. It's the best part of Vrindavan, and Vrindavan's the best place on the earth, like that. So it was like the center of the spiritual world. And where did he go? To some horrible place in New York where he had to walk over drunks. When he would get out of his room in the morning, he had to walk over drunks that were passed out, and people would just be, not take a bath for days, and they're so dirty and everything, and had long hair, which Prabhupada just saw as like horrible and dirty. And
never have a shower for 2 months.
And having and boys and girls embracing and kissing each other in the street and everything like that, and people eating meat. And the first house he went, he had to keep his boga for his cooking in a fridge which had dog food in it, like animal meat and stuff in it. He was like horrified. He had to travel in a car with a dog sitting next to him, which was like horrific for him. One time he said that the greatest austerity he ever did was sit in a car next to a dog. He said that was
as about the hell. You already having the hell on the planet there. You don't need to go to.
because he has such high standards of cleanliness and everything. You know, he went through so much sacrifice and austerities, you know, we can't imagine.
Because of his guru.
And then he had heart attacks and everything. He still went on. He didn't give up. And he didn't even know how he was going to stay in America. He only had 1 month visa or something. And then he managed to extend it. He rented a place. He didn't know where he was going to get the money to pay the next month's rent. And he just depended on Krishna. You know, so it was just one sacrifice after another. You know, and that's why he got so much mercy, you know, from Krishna to become so powerful. Because Krishna reciprocated with his sacrifices, austerities he did.
Krishna arrived him. Like, you know, when he said that, when he wrote the Bhagavatam, he said that another hand come out of there from my hand. You can't see them. I don't write that. This is the hand that's written the Bhagavatam. So Krishna came in him.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's just so
well, one time, reporter asked Prabhupada, "How do you write your purports?" And Prabhupada said, "Krishna tells me what to write." So that completely blew the guy's brain. What does that mean? And then the disciple in the room said, what Swamiji means is that Krishna's in his heart, God's in his heart, and God in his heart tells him what to write. And then Prabhupada said to his disciple, no, no, Krishna's sitting next to me telling me what to write. And that blew the disciples' head off.
Yeah.
You know, oh my God, that's like far out. So, you know, God was personally came and not that, you know, Krishna's arm popped out of Prabhupada's shoulder. But no, Krishna was a person is there and telling Prabhupada what to write. You know, so very incredible that, you know, if someone gives everything to God, then God reciprocates by giving everything to the devotee. Let's look at a verse that talks about that.
Wow.
Yayata, I think it's 4:11, 4 chapter text 11. One of the ladies can read this one.
4:11.
But only Krishna is the Purush. All we are ladies. Only Krishna is the male.
The lady bodies, would that have a lady body?
Who cares about the body?
As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
Yeah, so if you surrender 10%, then Krishna will reciprocate 10%. If you do 50%, Krishna will reciprocate 50%. If you surrender 100%, Krishna will give 100%.
That's what I said to my daughter. Whatever the money you can save it, I'll just double it to buy a car.
Wow.
You save 10,000, I'll put 5 on the top. 10,000, you can buy the car. You save 2,000, then you get a $4,000 worth of car. So
you're very generous, Father. You're very generous.
Generous, but
so that's where we get it from. It's coming from Krishna. That's where we get our reciprocating nature, nature from. So, of course, we can't imitate Prabhupada and, you know, maybe in the beginning do everything for Krishna, but we just try our best, you know, little by little. And as time goes on, the idea is that the sacrifices can increase. You know, the sacrifices can increase. And for example, you know, when we get initiated, we promise to chant at least 16 rounds a day. That's minimum, not maximum. So that's minimum. But as time goes on, the devotee might chant, you know, 18 rounds a day and then 20 rounds a day and, you know, like that, 25 rounds a day. And some devotees do vows like that. They say as time goes on, they do more sacrifice for Krishna or, you know, just try to spend more hours in the day doing things for Krishna than we do stuff for ourselves. And but don't think necessarily that I'm, you know, when I eat it's just that's for me, it's not for Krishna, and when I sleep that's for me, it's not for Krishna, and when I make money it's for me, it's not for Krishna, you know, and if something for Krishna is only chanting. No, it's not like that. If you use your your body and everything, your mind, your intelligence for Krishna, then everything you do is for Krishna. Like if you're, going out and distributing prasadam and distributing books or doing harinam and different things like that, and then you eat and then you sleep, but those things are also regarded as a sacrifice for Krishna, because you want to keep the body fit and healthy and strong so that you can do more service for Krishna. So that's also included in your sacrifice. So it's like that. So it's not just the chanting as sacrifice, but if you're dedicating your life to Krishna, then every part of your life becomes a part of the sacrifice. Like that, everything becomes sacrifice. Slowly. As long as in our heart we realize that we're the servant of Krishna, and then slowly all the activities in our life become Krishna conscious activities, devotional service.
But you can do chanting while you
remember you saying because we all used to get excited about going to India and well, we've got to go there and we've got to do this, and you said doesn't matter where you are in the world or where you're living or anything, you can become Krishna conscious anywhere. You just got to it's a change in
but there is some places has got some energy, like a Vrindavan has got an energy which is you can't get that in Tokyo or London. Like I know you Krishna conscious, but the Krishna, the energy in Vrindavan, Mayapur, for Mahaprabhu's energy there, which is this place is like, the dham it's important too.
Yeah, but it's not automatic. Otherwise, if it's automatic, then everyone in Vrindavan would be Krishna conscious. But there's a lot of people in Vrindavan that are very materialistic, like super materialistic. And some even demons, asuras, might be there. We know that even when Krishna was in Vrindavan, right, so many asuras, demons, went to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. So it's not that just the place itself is going to make you a pure devotee.
But do you feel the difference?
However, you're correct in saying that, there's a lot of things in that environment that may stimulate your Krishna consciousness. Like you'll see a lot of devotees there, and that reminds you of Krishna. And you'll hear lots of kirtans going on right through the night and the morning. There'll be kirtans going on, different temples. Bells will be ringing in the temples. You'll be hearing those. Artis will be going on like that. There'll be harinams going through the streets like that. There's so much prasadam distribution going on and everything like that. So, and the river Yamuna is there that reminds you of Krishna, and you see the Tulsi tree and you see the cows.
It's just something in their land. You step on their land, that's it. It just feels like you are in a different world.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that is said, the Vrindavan on this earth is non-different than the Vrindavan in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. That's non-different. However, it is covered by a veil of Maya. It's covered by a veil of Maya.
If somebody is a drinker, he goes to Vrindavan, he doesn't feel like to drink. If somebody is a meat eater, he go to Vrindavan, doesn't feel like to eat meat. It's just like, I know, I was there too. I was meat eater. And just like something, I don't like it at all. Soon I get out of Vrindavan, yes, I want a chicken curry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. But something in there, Vrindavan.
There is. It has a different energy.
I felt very connected somehow to Mayapur more than Vrindavan. That was just, for me, it was just next level. That was really,
Because that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place, and he's full of mercy. So there's a lot of mercy flowing there.
I just felt very, very attached.
I'm not saying that India isn't an incredible place, and every time I've been twice now, and it is an amazing experience. But I was just saying, that about what Abhay Prabhu was talking about, like turning all our activities, into Krishna conscious activities, is that we could do that anywhere. And I always read him saying that. That's what But yeah, in India, I love it. I could stay there too.
Let's go together. Gail said next year she's coming. She and we are talking of going and joining Keshava Prabhu next year.
Even when I had typhoid, I still was so glad I was in India.
So Abhay Prabhu and Bhakti Mala and Gulshan, let's all go in October next year with Keshava Prabhu and Gail.
Make it in February. That's
Ola, Keshava Prabhu is organizing it. It's during the Kartik month. It's October.
Oh, okay. Because February is the the Gauranga that
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day.
That's a merciful time and merciful place, but that's very busy on that time. But, okay, if it's Kartik, it's Kartik.
Nice.
That time will be very auspicious time.
Yeah. But the main thing is where your body is doesn't matter so much. But the main thing is where your mind is, where your consciousness is. So a devotee, even like Prabhupada's in America or whatever, but he was thinking about Vrindavan. He was always thinking about Vrindavan, thinking about his spiritual master like that. So that's the main thing. There's some people that their body is in Vrindavan, but they're thinking about going to America and make money. So where are they? So it's where your consciousness is that's important. And the worst thing is if you're in Vrindavan and you're thinking about sense gratification, like if you're thinking about sex and eating and so forth, then that's a hellish mentality and that cause problems in future. Actually, it's only recommended that advanced devotees stay in Vrindavan. It's only recommended advanced devotees. Neophyte devotees are not recommended to spend more than 3 days in Vrindavan.
Why?
Because if you develop an offensive mentality, you'll set yourself back. You'll set yourself back. Because whatever good things you do in Vrindavan, you get 1,000 times the benefit. Whatever bad things you do in Vrindavan, you get 1,000 times the reaction.
Negative.
So it goes both ways. In Mayapur, whatever good things you do, you get 1,000 times the benefit too. And whatever bad things you do, you don't get any multiplication of the reaction.
Really? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so kind.
He sees the good that you do and overlooks the bad.
My God, no, I want to go there.
Anyway.
What's that?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna anyway.
So but in the mood of Radharani. In the mood of Radharani, and Radharani is so kind. Radharani is so kind. If you
took me to
if you surrender to a man, there's no guarantee he's going to forgive you. But if you surrender to a woman, then she's so soft-hearted, then she'll say, I forgive you. Women are just by nature more soft-hearted, so Krishna can be very hard sometimes.
They've even got a devotee hospital in Mayapur, and Krishna sent me to the devotee hospital, which I thought was one of the kindest things he could have done, because like I had to go 3 times a day to get these antibiotics, so I spent almost a week in them. Wow. And they're all devotees. Everybody, all the nurses, all the doctors, walking around.
Wow.
They're chanting when they don't have when they're not busy. They're
that is so. You're so blessed.
So it's like, if you're gonna get sick,
you're lucky to be sick there.
Yeah, that's right. And they're all devotees. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
In Mayapur,
Deepa, you know that where to go, Mayapur.
I already said.
But once you've been there, then when you leave there, the idea is then you just remember the place. You remember the place like that. Or even by hearing the descriptions from the scriptures, then you can remember what you've heard about those holy places where Krishna had pastimes and so forth.
Let's buy the land.
But if all the devotees thought, well, it's too austere being in the West, we're all going to go and live in India, but then who's going to preach? Who's going to preach to all the... And that's Prabhupada's mission. See, if you have a guru, what does it mean to be a disciple? Disciple means you have to understand what's the heart of your spiritual master. What's the mood of your guru? What does he really want? What really pleases your guru the most? And what pleases Prabhupada the most is that, of course, that you yourself develop love for Krishna, and then, of course, that you spread it, that you share Krishna consciousness with other people, help other people become Krishna conscious. That wasn't his mood that, oh, we all want to be advanced devotees, so we're all going to live in Vrindavan so we can all become advanced devotees and we can all hear about Rasa Leela and everything like that and dancing with Krishna and everything like that. No, that wasn't Prabhupada's mood. That was other gurus' mood, that you should live in Vrindavan and, hear about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis day and night and everything like that. And but that wasn't Prabhupada's mood. And we know from his own life, he left Vrindavan to go to the West to help all these poor people. If he didn't do that, like if Prabhupada never went to the West, where would we all be? In the gutter somewhere.
Hell.
Probably be dead or, suffering.
But that was one of the 7 rules that Prabhupada set up for the ISKCON, is it?
So you're talking about the 7 purposes? 7 purposes of ISKCON.
This is the one of the purpose you're saying that is one of the purpose?
Well, almost all the purposes are to do with educating people in Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
Almost all of them. One of the purposes is to construct a holy place in the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. So that was a big purpose, that he wanted a very special Vedic planetarium constructed in Mayapur.
About the new temple open in Mayapur now? The one he was building.
Part of it was open.
Part of it was open for Nrsimhadev. Yeah, okay. But not completely done yet. But yeah, that was one of the purposes, was to construct that place.
That is really an amazing temple.
Yeah. But the next
one of the purposes is to teach a more simpler, natural way of life. So, I mean, that's the purpose I've sort of focused on, to teach a more simple, natural way of life, which is very conducive to being Krishna conscious. So, yeah, but most of the purposes are to do with teaching, educating people Krishna consciousness, not enjoying life in Vrindavan. That's not what it's about, like that. Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. So that, what does that indicate? Work means what work? It means not office factory work, but means spreading Krishna conscious work. That's the main work for a devotee. Once you become Krishna conscious, what do you have to do? Nothing really, because you just have to maintain your Krishna consciousness. In due course of time, your body will die, and then you'll go back to Godhead. Prabhupada said if you chant 16 rounds minimum every day and follow the 4 regulated principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, I guarantee at the end of this life, you'll go back home, back to Godhead. So what do you have to do? Those things, do one thing and don't do 4 things. That's what you basically have to do. And extra on top of that is just trying to help other people. You don't have to do anything for yourself. You've already done the best thing by becoming Krishna conscious and chanting Hare Krishna. You're doing the best sacrifice for Kali Yuga, which gives liberation from, all the suffering of the material world. But all that's remaining is until you go, is try to help some other people to do the same. Help other people to become Krishna conscious. Other than that, there's nothing really you have to do. So he said work now means, help other people. And samadhi later, what does that mean? That means like when you're old and you can't do preaching work anymore because your legs don't work and everything like that, then go and sit down under a tree in Vrindavan and then just do your bhajan. And when you get hungry, someone brings you prasad, and then one day you'll just, that's it, final day. But yeah, finish your life off. And Prabhupada did that too. I mean, he left his body in Vrindavan. So he left in Vrindavan. But even if you don't die in Vrindavan, it's not a big deal. But wherever a devotee dies, it's auspicious as long as he's Krishna conscious. But that was his recommendation. While you're fit and healthy in that, then do engage in some preaching activities. And when you're not fit and healthy, then just go and lie down, sit down, or whatever, and you know, in Vrindavan, and leave your body there. So that's the recommendation, like that. And
Deepa, let's buy the place somewhere in Mayapur, and then we stay there near the Ganges, bath in the Ganges. Come and prashad.
Now's not a good time. After World War III, do all that stuff. Wait.
World War III?
World War III never gonna happen, Prabhu. It's gonna happen maybe 100,000, 500 years. I don't have 500 years.
You don't have faith in Prabhupada?
Faith in the Prabhupada, but I don't have 500 years.
No, he said 500 years. Prabhupada said, you'll see in about 50 years, the whole material civilization, modern civilization will collapse. So
it's already 50 years Prabhupada left. It's already 50 years Prabhupada left.
No.
77.
And 27 will be 50 years.
27, so 24. Oh, another 3 years.
3 years.
Well, you can already see things are starting to fall apart. Like, you know,
I mean, just look at the Google News. Every second article on Google News is about some weapon that's being developed, either a jet plane or a tank or a bomb or
they have to sell their news. If the news is everything is like weather is good, this is good, who's gonna watch the news? You have to have a villain in the story.
But the cost of living is going up, and people are losing their jobs. You put it this way:
if there's no Ravana, Ram doesn't need to come.
Yeah.
So
you should. It's starting to happen now.
Yeah, you should understand what the spiritual master's saying, and he's saying that 50 years ago, that materialistic society is going to fall apart. And what are you going to do about that? So you just have to be as Krishna conscious as you can, and try to be a bit independent as much as possible from the rest of society. And that's why he wanted devotees to live on farms and so forth, to get away from the cities and everything, which is going to be very horrible in that sort of scenario. And but yeah, it's definitely not the best time to be buying properties in the city, in somewhere.
Where you gonna live, Deepa, in Mayapur? You have to have a house, food and shelter near the Ganges. I'm thinking the Deepa, where you gonna live?
In Mayapur?
Yes.
I don't know.
Just see if you can survive, keep your head above water during this period of the next few years, and then talk about.
Of course,
living
Deepa will live 50 years. Don't worry.
We'll just come over to you, and we live in your self-sustaining.
I'll just go there. They have a counter there.
That's okay.
They have a
counter. Survivor. I've got a worse hope. I'm the cancer survivor. You guys have more hope than me.
No. In Mayapur there's one counter, one office there for all volunteers. I'll just go there and say, I'm here. What can I do?
I'm here. Look like you are a president of the United States. I'm here.
Yeah. And just
Prabhupada said to his disciples that now no one's interested to go to the farms, but you will see there will be a day in your lifetime. He's talking to his disciples, so that wasn't a long time. There'll be a day where you'll see thousands of people lining up to the farms. And that's because Prabhupada could visualize there's going to be massive unemployment. No one would have jobs. Like in New Zealand now, there's so much news about the unemployment is just going up and up and up.
A lot of Kiwi people come to Australia actually for the jobs.
Yeah, people are leaving us in New Zealand like anything.
Yeah.
And economically, it's very bad. So yeah, when things get really bad in the cities, then there'll be heaps of people lining up to the farms and everything like that. And it's going to be.
That's why you bought a farm. I know that. Now I know why you bought a farm. That's why you bought a farm.
I mean, where was Krishna living when he was on the earth to begin with?
Near Yamuna, in the Vrindavan.
Yeah, he was living on the land, with cows and plants and a simple life, and it's just the ideal way to live. So it's the ideal way to live.
When you come in September, only you coming. Jayanti is not coming.
Yeah, she's got to man the fort here.
Ah.
And also it's very expensive because she's already just been to Australia and come back. So yeah, we can't throw
she
around.
Came to Australia, doesn't see us,
Ah.
doesn't give it a damn, and she went back to
Exactly.
New Zealand. Can you believe that?
No,
Can you believe
see
that?
us.
I can't believe
When
it.
did she come? I didn't even know actually.
She's just
See, you don't even know, Deepa.
Yeah.
Oh my
She
God.
could have
No,
come.
you did. You were talking about it before. You mentioned that you were planning to go to Melbourne, but the times weren't going to work out. Anyway,
no, it's already been cut. Heart is cut. No, that's it.
I
think she brought it up a few weeks ago, and you were
know.
saying about you were planning to also go to Melbourne.
No, that was the Melbourne plan. Next week is supposed to be in Melbourne.
I know, but at that time, it was mentioned that the times were different, that you were going to both be in Melbourne.
Abhay Prabhu is a friend. He's going to come. Jayanti is not our friend.
So, yeah, now I'm not going also to Melbourne because Ben's not, it's a bit not comfortable, me being away.
Yeah, no, we should do our duties. And that's what's mentioned.
He's in love.
Let's just continue on from the purport, because that's what we're talking about, is about this Varnashram system, which is different duties. So their brahmacharya means like duties for a student in the beginning of life. And then if you get married, grihasta, different duties. Then when you retire, vanaprastha, different duties, sannyas, like that. And then different occupations. If you're a more intellectual type, you can teach brahmana, and if you're more into leadership and administration and things like kshatriya, and then if you're a bit of a producer type, then vaishya, and then labourer. And labourer, if you don't have very good intelligence to work out work as a teacher or a administrator or as a producer, then you can just work for others.
Prabhu, how do you find out what's your type? How do you find out, like, I did all kind of work, like, study as well, and then Shudra as well, and a Kshatriya as a born too, but how do you find out who am I? Like, which, Varnashram?
What you enjoyed the most? What you liked the most? You liked
when I was cleaning, I enjoyed that. I was a Shudra, Kshatriya as well.
Enjoying what you enjoy the most is half of it, and the other half of it is
what you're good at.
Because if you enjoy it but you're not good at it, then that's not it.
What are you good at? You're good at talking, right?
If you're good at it and you don't enjoy it, that's not it. And if you're not good at it and you don't enjoy it, that's definitely not it. So it's generally...
When I had a Gloria jeans, I was a merchant. I was a Vaishya. And I was enjoying there. Now I'm an Uber driver. I'm a Shudra. I'm enjoying that too. So it's like when I was in the real estate, I was a Kshatriya. I was enjoying too. And then sometime when I go to temple, become a reader and listener and Brahman, I enjoy that too. So there's no such thing. I don't enjoy that. I just love it or leave it.
Well, as when one comes to the point of being a Vaishnava, a devotee of Krishna, then one can do any activity to please Krishna. And like you say, we'll enjoy everything. We can clean the toilets for Krishna, sweep the floor for Krishna, cook for Krishna, sing for Krishna, talk for Krishna. So once you come to the point of being a surrendered devotee, then you don't mind doing anything. You enjoy doing anything for Krishna. It may be like that. It may be like that. But still, usually there will be some conditioned nature. If we in the mode of goodness, sattva gun, you fit more into being a brahmana. If you're more in the mode of passion, rajagun, you be more fit into kshatriya. If you're in a mix of passion and ignorance, then you fit more into vaishya role. And if you're mostly in ignorance, then you fit more into the sudra role of being told what to do. But traditionally, it would be worked out when you would be at Gurukul. The young child was at Gurukul. The guru is very intelligent, of course. He's a brahmana. And he would see the students, what kind of nature they had. So just by observing them, he would be able to tell, oh, you're a Brahmana, you're a Kshatriya, you're a Vaishya, like that. And then also very easily it's worked out by a good astrologer looks at your astrology chart and say, oh, this is you're a Brahmana, you're a Vaishya, whatever like that. From the astrology that can be told. And I'm
more enjoying
like an astrologer told me, said that
you'll be Brahmana, no?
He said you were made to preach. He told
me.
me.
Wow, there you go.
So like that. And I've experienced that when I don't teach other people, I feel very depressed. Even like now, I have a good life. Living on the land and growing our own stuff and that. But if I'm not involved with sharing it with other people, then I get depressed. I become unhappy. I used to have a job making money as a land surveyor, but I was very unhappy because I wasn't doing anything to help other people. So even though my life was okay, but I felt very unhappy.
I think I'm more like an entertainer, like a customer service, entertain anyone.
You were made to stay at the entrance of the Bhakti tree. That's what you were made for.
I know that's the entertainer. So what
and have a big smile and be very welcoming to everyone who walks in the door.
What category comes that one?
Made you to do that.
So yeah, it depends. What category I am in. I'm in the Vaishya then. Vaishya.
No, actually, every devotee is a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is not. He's above being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra.
Okay.
Like if a devotee sweeps the temple, does that mean he's a Shudra? No, he's a Vaishnava. Yeah. So a Vaishnava can do anything, for Krishna. So, but still, all these different.
I'm a Vaishya. Vaishya, the third one.
Yeah.
Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I'm the third one.
Vaishya is a merchant, isn't it?
Yeah, entertainer, merchant, customer service, entertainer. That's what I am.
Can I just say something? This last year at the farm, we had a devotee. I'm pretty sure she's Prabhupada disciple, Urmila.
Yep, Prabhupada disciple. Yep.
Yeah, Urmila Edith Best. Well,
yep.
She came and did a series, like a couple of lectures.
Yep.
And it was about Dharma and all these sorts of things and everything we're talking about now.
Yep.
But she went right into it. And
yep.
it was really interesting. And she talked about all the different roles and went right into it. So I'm not sure, Gulshan, if you're interested, I'll give you her name because she might have them online as well. But
they probably are. I've heard about her doing that.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of questions. Like she gave us a quiz on and things, and you could actually work things out. I like being like, because it's not also just what you're doing. It's like, do you like to be around people, or do you like to do service on your own? Do you like to be directed? Like all these different types of things. So yeah, I'll give you her name, Gulshan.
Sure.
You might be able to find it online, but she was really interesting, actually. Urmila. And
you need to spend a lot of time with Gulshan to figure it out for Gulshan.
Shut up.
I think you might be interested.
Anyone can read me.
You might be interested. She also did this. I've got her book here. It's called Krishna Meditations. I'm not sure if you've seen this.
I haven't seen that, no.
Yeah.
I actually bought one for you and Jayanti, but
where did you buy that? Is she signed it and give it to you?
It's at the farm. No, it's not signed, but what it is, she does lectures on the material world as well, and they're all different meditations, like maybe the rain or something. So you pick a page and you look at it, and then there's a nice meditation on it. You might pick one.
Where she based that?
I think she's American, to be honest.
Yeah, she's American.
Yeah.
Is she based in America or mostly Vrindavan?
I think she travels.
she's sannyasin, is she?
No, she's retired from family life. Yeah. So yeah, she's like vanaprastha. She travels around.
Yeah, so I've got that for you guys anyway.
She's a real brahmana, yeah, a real teacher.
Yeah, but
she used to be very involved at teaching children, like gurukuls, like teaching children as a teacher. So she's been a teacher from the beginning of her life. Yeah.
Like, if you want to look more into it, you could look into her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, next time when you go to Bhakti Tree.
And also the idea is by training, then you can become anything, by training. If you do something enough, then you will become good at it. If you get the education, get the training. Like Gulshan, you've been trained in business, like that. You've been trained.
I don't know. It was my basic nature. If nobody trained me, I'll still be okay with that. You're trying to train me to become a doctor? I can't, because it's not me. So, I think the basic nature, what you got that from the Krishna, when you're born with it, it's just the Krishna just put that a hard disk in there. Yeah. And then if somebody show that direction, you rise very fast because it's look like familiar. And if you go other direction, like, if I'm definitely not a Shudra, because Bhakti Mala knows my standard of cleaning. See the way she laughing? I'm definitely not the cleaner, because that's why I get divorced, because my wife cleaned after I clean. What's the point of cleaning? You're cleaning after, because she said your cleaning is just hopeless. I said, I'm Indian. What do you can expect? So anyway,
some Indians are very clean. You can't just wipe off the clean.
But something you can't teach, you cannot teach me cleaning. Simple. I can't learn. And like for customer service, you don't teach me. It just comes with it. And then you're trying to become a scientist. No, I haven't got that much brain to become a scientist or doctor or professor or PhD. No way.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever God give it, I'm happy.
Yeah.
End of the day.
So all these they're God-given gifts. So we try to use it for God. We try to use Krishna has given us all some gift. We all have different gifts, So the main thing is we use whatever we have for Krishna. And it's not expected everyone's going to be a super cleaner, or everyone's going to be a super cook, or everyone's going to be a super singer. But we all have these different qualities in that. But we want to cooperate together, work together, and then unite together to please Krishna. So someone's singing a beautiful song, and someone's playing beautiful instruments, and someone's cooking a wonderful feast, and someone's decorating the place and the altar and everything, and someone's growing the food and the flowers that are used, and someone's welcoming the guests in. So with all of our gifts, we combine it all together, and then it becomes a whole wonderful extravaganza, a wonderful festival like that. And that's why Krishna created us all differently, so that we can come together and create some nice services. Okay, so let's continue the purport. So we did the first one and the second one. The third one is very short. So you start from that, the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Deeper. Who's ready?
That's the 4:11, is it?
No. Our verse for today is chapter 8.
28.
Yeah, 8:28. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever's ready can start reading that purport.
The beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the ritual of the different orders of life. The word idam vidayita indicates that one should understand the instruction given by Sri Krishna in this chapter and the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. One should try to understand these chapters not by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. Chapter 7 through 12 are essence of Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 and the last 6 chapters are like covering for the middle 6th chapter, which are specially protected by the Lord. If one is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle 6th chapter, in the association of devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penance, sacrifices, charities, speculations, etc. For one can achieve all the results of these activities simple by Krishna consciousness.
Stop there, yep. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's explained the definition of faith. So there, the word for Sanskrit word for faith is Shraddha, faith. And it's saying there, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Sudrida Nischoi. The complete conviction, that faith is the complete conviction that Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarvakama Kritahoy. That is, faith is the complete conviction that simply by my acting in Krishna consciousness, then everything is successful, everything is perfect. So that's this verse is that kind of faith. This is what this verse is talking about. That all I need to do is to become Krishna conscious, to act in devotional service and Krishna consciousness, and then my whole life is successful. My whole life is perfect. I don't need to do anything else. As Prabhupada said with that first bit of the purport, the beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. So that's the faith a devotee should have. All I need to do is maintain my Krishna consciousness. And then if Krishna is pleased with me, then my whole life's perfect. My whole life's successful. I don't have to do anything else. There's no need for me to do anything else other than just stay in Krishna consciousness. We need to become Krishna conscious and then maintain that Krishna consciousness. And we don't need to think that, okay, I've done Krishna consciousness. What next? What comes after Krishna consciousness? There's nothing comes after Krishna consciousness. That is the highest thing. You know, that you might go from studying the Vedas to becoming Krishna conscious. You might go from doing austerities to becoming Krishna conscious.
If you climb the Mount Everest, there is no other climb after that.
Yeah.
Mount Everest is the highest. Once you go to Mount Everest, done.
Yeah. So it's like that. I know some people that were Buddhists before they became Krishna conscious. You know, some people were Christians before, Muslims before, or like me, an atheist before, like that. And then you become Krishna conscious. There's nothing that comes after Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the pinnacle. It's the culmination of all knowledge, all education, all religion, all spirituality, everything. It's the top of everything, the highest knowledge. Let's look at a verse about that and a little bit. Actually, it's coming up. It's coming up, actually. The second verse of the next chapter, number 9. So, second one.
The knowledge is the king of education, the most sacred of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge and gives direct perception of self by realization. It is perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyful performance, said by Krishna.
Yeah. So it's the ultimate. Krishna consciousness is the ultimate. It's the king of all knowledge. It's the king of education, the greatest secret, the purest knowledge. And it's the best religion. Why? Because it gives direct perception of the self. It means it can come to the point where you can directly see God. You can directly see God. Like people say, you just believe in God. But Krishna consciousness can actually bring us to the point where you can see God eye to eye, face to face. Like we said about Prabhupada, Krishna was sitting next to Prabhupada telling him what to write with the purports. So is there any doubt in Prabhupada's mind that Krishna exists? No, he was seeing God. He's like the best friend of God. So God becomes your friend, by Krishna consciousness. So it's not just a kind of faith or belief. Of course, faith is required, but it can bring us to the point where you can actually directly perceive the soul and Krishna and the relationship between us. So it's beautiful. And then finally, it's just the most happy kind of life, the most happy kind of consciousness, joyfully performed. As Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is just chanting, dancing, and
feasting.
Chanting, dancing, and feasting. So it's so joyful. You don't have to stand on your head. You don't have to press your nose. You don't have to do fasting and so many things, austerities, and you don't have to learn so many books and everything like that. Things can be done, but nothing else has to be done. Just chanting, dancing, and feasting. Even if someone's not very scholarly or whatever, even if they can't read all these books, even that's okay. Just chant, take prasad. Prabhupada said one time, a devotee can go back to Godhead just by eating. Just by eating prasad. If that's all you do, just eat prasad. And, you'll go back to Godhead like that.
Like Narada Muni as well, eating the leftover from, what do you call that? He's the son
the
of
sages. That's how he became Krishna conscious.
Great sage by himself.
Yeah, that's how he became a great devotee. It was just through taking the prasad there was actually said those sages were actually the four Kumaras, so they were great brahmanas, great devotees, and he took their remnants of their food, and then his next life he took birth as Narada Muni, and then he also heard from them. He heard whatever they were talking, because he was there with them for 4 months of the rainy season. India has a rainy season.
Yeah.
Like now it's the rainy season. So for those 4 months, people don't travel. So he was with them and serving them for 4 months while he was a child. And then he became a great devotee.
It's called a Chaturmasa.
Yeah, Chaturmasa, that's right. That's right.
It's called like every month you have to be not eating certain things.
That's not very essential, not very important.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're in India at that time in the rainy season, if you want to do extra austerities, the point of that is to do extra austerities. 1 month first month they don't take spinach, the next month they don't take milk, next month they don't take yogurt, next month they don't take urd dal. But it's specifically designed for someone from West Bengal, East Bengal, like that, because they love their shak, their spinach, and they love, of course, milk and yogurt, and they love urd dal. I mean, for most Westerners, if you said, okay, for 1 month we're not going to eat urd dal, most Westerners would say, what's that? I never heard of it. What is that? So that's definitely not an austerity for an Aussie to not have urd dal, because they've never even eaten urd dal. So it's mainly set up for Bengali. They can't live without urd dal. It's said that if a Bengali is not eating urd dal, he must be secretly eating fish, because there's a similar flavor between the protein is quite similar between fish and urd dal. So I experienced that once. I made pakoras with urd dal and cabbage, and I could swear I was eating fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, for a Westerner, doesn't even know. If you want to do extra austerities, then you should say 1 month no pizza, 1 month no ice cream, 1 month no chocolate, and like that, then do some extra austerities like that. But
can I ask something? I made a salad today. I offered it, but after that, a request from my boys, how come there's no onion? So after that, I cut one onion and I put it in the salad and mixed it. But then, does it then cancel off the offering? I just want
no. But yeah, you should offer it without the onion.
Yeah. That's
and
what
then
I
if you
did.
add that later on, it's still prasadam.
But your son, just give it right on the. Shut up! Don't ask onion. Whatever I feed you,
Oh,
eat.
no, it's okay.
Otherwise, get out of the house.
No, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Onion's not a big deal. I mean, if someone wants to eat, that's their choice. But I mean, a devotee should avoid it because it's food in the mode of passion. So increase the passion. That's why we don't do it. And also, passion, as Krishna mentions in the and I think it's in the 18th chapter. We can look at that.
If you're Kshatriya, can you eat onion then?
Yeah, I mean, if that's your job is to be passionate, then
because if you're Kshatriya, you have to be, protect the nation.
Well, it's mentioned actually traditionally, some Kshatriyas would even eat meat because it sort of comes with the job that you have to be very passionate and everything.
Deepa, your son is Kshatriya. Krishna was Kshatriya, you know that? Krishna was Kshatriya.
But he didn't eat onion.
No, he doesn't. But Krishna is Krishna. We're not Krishna.
Hey, here it is. Okay. 17th chapter.
17.
Text 8, 9, and 10. And the food and the different modes of nature. 17th chapter, text 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10. Can I read that? Food dear to
let Deepa read because that's what she's brought us to the subject.
Yes. Deepu, your turn.
Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increases the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart.
But one thing, Prabhuji, it says that...
now, hang on. Let's just read all three. Deepa, next one.
Okay.
Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Oh, wow.
Yeah, next one.
Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. Food that is tasteless, composed and decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness.
Yeah, so meat fits into
the last one.
10. Yep.
Yeah.
And onions and garlic fits into text 9.
Yeah.
Too pungent. Too pungent. It's too pungent. So
this one, my question is
what's that?
My question is that food dear to those who more of goodness increase the duration of the life. I mean, the amount of breath you have been calculated, how can that be increased? More goodness, whatever your breath and my breath is calculated, that breath is the finalized. After that, I can't take even one breath. Yeah. How can that be increase the duration of life?
Yeah, but maybe by eating vegetarian food, your breathing will slow down.
Okay. What about if I'm a marathon runner? Instead of 70 years, I live only 40 years because my breath is so fast.
If you're a marathon runner,
yeah, I breathe faster, and then
so you could live a healthy short life.
Okay. So
a healthy short life.
How the goodness will increase your life. Okay. I believe you. I believe Prabhupada. I believe Bhagavad Gita. That's it. Thank you.
Well, it's like you're putting the right food in the right machine. Like if you have a petrol car, you put petrol fuel in it. If you have a diesel car, you put diesel fuel. So putting vegetarian food in the human body is the right fuel for the car. The human body is designed to eat vegetarian food, fruits, veggies, nuts, grains, dairy products like that. That's what the body's designed for that. if you put meat and other things in it, because it's not designed for that, then it's gonna break down faster.
Oh yeah, you are right, Prabhuji. Because before cancer, I was eating meat. After cancer, I started eating only vegetarian, so increase the duration of life.
Yeah, so you would have been dead years ago if you kept eating.
Oh,
yeah, yes,
yeah,
100%.
So when like it said that when you're born, you have a certain number of breaths, right?
Yes.
Destined to you, right? That's why you brought this up. So, but whoever's controlling your destiny obviously knows that at a certain point in your life, well, you're going to become a vegetarian or whatever. So
but
that's
it's
factored in there.
Is it that different? I mean, everyone is born with a certain number of breaths, but a certain number that is unique to each individual, because there are babies that are just born and then they are not. So they haven't done any breaths yet.
No,
but
that number of breaths you're given is according to your past karma.
So each one is different, nah? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. According to your past karma. And it's not necessarily bad karma that you have a short life either. Because say you become, your spiritual bank balance in your previous life was 98%. You've only got 2% left to do. So then if the person, is born in a family of devotees or whatever and lives for 2 years and then dies, well, that was the last 2%. It wasn't that, he must have had really bad karma. Not necessarily. Maybe he had really good karma. He only had a little bit left to finish off.
Yeah.
And then that's it. He's out of here. So, anyway, it's all arranged by these higher personalities like that. But they also know that, okay, the first, in my case, the first 20 years of my life was a meat eater. And then hopefully the remainder of my life is a vegetarian. So they know that, these higher personalities know what you're going to do. So that's all factored in with your number of breaths and everything like that.
So I was about to leave, but the Krishna says, no, listen to Abhay Prabhu and his chapters and his lessons. He can't leave now.
So then the only thing that can change someone's karma, normally you can't change karma, but devotional service is so powerful, like what we've been reading, that it can even change your karma. Like Prabhupada said, if you clap in front of the deities, Hare Krishna, it said that changes the lines on your hand. It means your destiny becomes changed when you do something to please Krishna. So as soon as you enter into the field of Krishna consciousness, then you're even changing your destiny, changing karma. We're so fortunate to have come in contact with Krishna. Now we just want to stay there and in contact with Krishna and the devotees, and then try to help others. Like I say, all you have to really do, try to help other people as much as you can. And help other people means help them to also get connected with Krishna, to get prasad or to hear the holy name, to get a book or something like that. And especially mentioned in that purport that Gulshan just read is hearing about Krishna and the association of devotees is very important. Like it was mentioned that the most important chapters of the Bhagavad Gita are, what are the most important chapters of Bhagavad Gita? 6.
Between 6 to 7 to 12. No.
Yep,
First
7.
6.
What did you say? 7 to?
First
12.
Yeah, 7 to 12. Yeah. So that's 6, the middle 6. 7. So you got the first 6, the middle 6, and then the last 6. So the total is 18 chapters, right?
Yeah.
The Prabhupada said the middle 6, so from 7 to 12, is the most important chapters.
We are on the 8. We are the most important.
We are in the most important. Yeah, this is it. And especially Prabhupada mentions, especially those 6 chapters in the middle, if we hear them in the association of devotees, then that will be very good for us to achieve all the results like that. Simply. hearing these chapters.
You want me to read the last
Said that
chapter?
especially these middle 6 chapters and the association devotees, then his life at once becomes glorified beyond all penances, sacrifices, charities, speculations. One can achieve all the results of these activities simply by Krishna consciousness. So these are very powerful chapters that can help us become Krishna conscious. These middle 6 that we're reading, and Prabhupada mentions also that one should not try to understand these chapters by scholarship or mental speculation, but by hearing them in association with devotees. So it's not just by being very intellectual, having a good brain, that you can understand Krishna consciousness. I've been hearing a lot of conversations Prabhupada had with scientists and religionists, you know, big Christian priests and everything like that. And they're so dumb. They're so stupid. They can't understand the first thing in Krishna consciousness because they're just trying to understand it just from mental speculation. You know, they're not prepared to surrender to Krishna and start to do devotional service. So they're not going to get any mercy from Krishna. If you're not prepared to chant, if you're not prepared to follow the process, then you're not going to get any kind of mercy or an enlightenment from Krishna. You're not going to understand anything. These people that Prabhupada's talking with, scientists and that, and he's talking like some conversations are with, you know, very well-to-do Indians, but they're just so dumb. They can't understand you're not the body. What to speak of, you know, anything beyond that. They can't even understand you're not the body. Prabhupada sometimes spends an hour like trying to help them to understand you're not the body, you know. It's like he's so compassionate. Oh my God, he's so tolerant. Prabhupada just put up with so many idiots. And they're just morons, you know. And they've got degrees and PhDs and everything like that, and big jobs and positions and lots of money and everything, but they don't understand the very first thing about Krishna consciousness. You know, because it's Prabhupada explained, it's like, can you understand what honey is by licking on the bottle?
Open the jar, put the finger in.
You have to open the jar, put your finger in, and then lick it. You know, so that's like taking to Krishna consciousness is like you opening the jar and put your finger in, and then you know what it is. But these people, they're not prepared to do that. They're not prepared to chant. They're not prepared to, you know, to give up the 4 sinful activities.
Because, you know,
and Krishna's not going to give them a taste of what it is.
Because they haven't had a taste of water. They got a formula, H2O, this, all the books they read it, but they haven't had a taste of water. Until you taste the water, no matter how much books you can read it, you're not going to find out what's the taste of water.
But even a most simple devotee that even didn't have much education, never had a fancy job or make a lot of money, but they understand everything as soon as they take to the process. And they, you know, and they live in the association with devotees or meet with them, chant Hare Krishna, follow the 4 regulated principles, and Krishna just enlightens them. And that's our Gulshan's favorite verse, 10:10.
Tintin in my comics.
But that's from lack of humility and the conditioning, and then the lack of humility, and for the very highly qualified, educated, they think they are so big.
So we can see that having good material facilities can be a disqualification. You know, of having a good education and having wealth and having a good-looking body and coming from an aristocratic family.
Oh, that's what my problem is. That's why people say you're good-looking, Gulshan. That's why I'm not getting progress in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you just have to mess up your face a little bit.
I think so.
When I come over, I'll just give you a few slaps. And
I reckon then I'll be look more red and like more attractive.
Oh my God, you. Gail just wishes you'd shut up, Gulshan. That's all.
Oh yeah.
So that verse says,
those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Yeah, so when the devotee does some service, then Krishna enlightens them from within their heart, and from outside as the spiritual master. But for those that don't want to serve, they don't want to accept Krishna's God, they don't want to serve Krishna, they don't want to chant Krishna, then even maybe they don't even want to have prasad. And they don't want to be in the association of devotees, and they don't want to give up their bad habits. So they always remain like spiritual morons. They might be materially the most highly enlightened, but spiritually they always will remain morons. Because this knowledge of Krishna consciousness is revealed. It's not something you can get it by your effort, your endeavor. It's revealed to you. It's mercy. This knowledge is given to you as Krishna's mercy when he's pleased by your service. But if you don't have a service attitude, like Deepa said, if you're not humble enough to do some service, then you're not going to get the mercy. You're high and dry, and you'll always remain just dumb, like spiritually dumb. Like that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
And mercy comes from the Guru, Maharaj.
Yeah.
So far.
Hey, let's just quickly read the last paragraph.
Okay.
That's 28. And
who's going to read that?
One who has a little faith in Bhagavad Gita should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter, it is stated clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from mental speculators. This is a sign of faith. When one searches for devotees and fortunately gets a devotee's association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. By advancement in the association of the devotee, one is placed in devotional service, and this service dispels all one's misgivings about Krishna or God, and Krishna's activities, form, pastimes, name, and other features. After these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. Then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious. In the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Goloka Vrindavana, where the devotee becomes eternally happy.
Right.
Wow.
There you have it. That's the perfection of life. So this verse is telling us that the highest perfection of life is just to be Krishna conscious. And then in this last paragraph, Prabhupada makes it clear, the only way we can achieve this highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is through the association of devotees. You can't learn about Krishna consciousness from a non-devotee. They don't have any idea. So someone that's practicing as a devotee, that we can learn Krishna consciousness from them. And then Prabhupada gives a very scientific step-by-step progress of the whole system, right through to the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead, Goloka Vrindavan, and living with Krishna eternally happy. Hari Bol. So that begins with associating with devotees and learning about this whole culture and process and science from the devotees association. So that's like foundational, right from the beginning to the end. Is the association of devotees is so essential. But especially like-minded devotees, there'll be some devotees that we really connect with and relate with and we feel comfortable with. So we should associate with those devotees. some devotees you might not be able to relate to very well or feel comfortable with, and like that. Even spiritual masters, so many spiritual masters, but you select a spiritual master that you feel that you have a lot of faith in them, you feel comfortable with them, it makes sense, the way they explain things and everything like that. So that's the process. That's the process. So yeah, Krishna consciousness, that's the top. You can't get any better than that, the higher than that. And the way to get that is through this.
We are halfway through the Bhagavad Gita. When the Bhagavad Gita finishes, we'll go to Bhagavatam.
Sure, why not?
Because we are halfway through the Bhagavad Gita now. So we are halfway through the Bhagavatam. Once we finish that, one-way ticket. No way back.
Prabhupada said if you fully realize even one verse, you can go back to Godhead.
Wow.
One verse, even if you fully realized one verse, because every word in this book is non-different than God. It's actually Krishna, but we just haven't realized that. So if we can fully even realize one verse, then our life can be
I just realized that a Tintin, that's it.
Tintin.
Yeah, just serve Krishna with love, and that's you've understood everything. It's just serve Krishna with love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Serve everyone with the love. Whoever come in the bhakti tree, just everyone come, serve with the love. That's why I'm serving with the love. These ladies coming there, and they having a fun of me. But I still love with the Jagannath. Jagannath is there. If Deepa doesn't come to eat these days, she thinks Jagannath left. He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prasadam still there. He can't go to temple, he can come to Bhakti tree, still the Prasadam. Offer to Jagannath. He can have the remnant left over. And then
I was just thinking,
I've got to get going.
Oh, you're welcome. Lovely to see you again.
Hare Krishna.
We look forward to seeing you.
But Bhaktimala, think about next Kartik, next year. We go, or Gail, you. Last time when we went, you were wishing Gail was there, remember?
Yes. Yes.
Ah, there.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, of course. Next year, if you're planning that year, let me know. Might as well.
It'd be so nice if Abhi and Jayanti also is there. Wow, that would be so awesome. All of us together again. With Keshava Prabhu.
Yeah, that's a nice meditation.
For next year again? Keshava Prabhu planning next year?
Every year. He does every year. Except COVID time he didn't do, but...
You went there with Shamananda's Prabhu last year?
I did twice with Shamananda Prabhu, last year and the year before, but I feel very strongly, I have a very strong feeling with Keshava Prabhu. When I came back, actually, who was it? Gail, who actually commented that she noticed that when I came back after that trip, the 2019, I was really very spiritually very pumped. I was very... Whereas she didn't get that same sense in the last two trips with Shamananda Prabhu for whatever reasons. And I felt it as well. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. So
that's what I was saying. Like the verse was talking about devotee association. So we need to find that association that really enlivens us and stimulates us. Some association might not give us that same impact. So we need to carefully choose those devotees to associate with that inspire us and enliven us and like that. It's not necessarily everyone's going to be the same, effect.
Can you imagine you got a time when the Prabhupada was here in Australia? You had a Prabhupada association. Whoa, jackpot.
That would have been, I mean, that's what I don't know, Abhay Prabhu, if you remember that time. And even when I went with Shamananda Prabhu also, I just kept getting drawn to, and I was spending as much time as I could in Prabhupada Samadhi, both in Mayapur and in Vrindavan, and there was something that was very magnetic, and it's just that I kept going and I would be chanting there. You just felt something very different.
Gulshan, I would say that any one of us can still very intimately connect with Prabhupada, even right to this day and in future, by following his instructions.
Yes,
by following his instructions, you can really feel Prabhupada's presence like that. It's not just the physical association that's necessarily going to make you perfect. I mean, some disciples, they had Prabhupada's association and they even blooped, left Prabhupada, went back into Maya. So it's not just physical association that's only the important thing, but the main thing is to follow the instructions. If you follow the instructions of the devotee, then you feel their presence and you get so much benefit. Prabhupada said that, he said, I only met my spiritual master a handful of times, like 4 or 5 times in his whole life. Prabhupada only met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati very few times. But he said that I'm always thinking of his instructions. My battery is on the way out, but we have to finish anyway. But he said that I'm always thinking of his instructions. So I think we're not necessarily disadvantaged that we didn't physically meet Prabhupada. But I think what is important is that we try to seriously and strictly try to understand what he said and try to follow those things as best we can. And then really feel Prabhupada's presence in our lives. Unless I felt some connection with Prabhupada, there's no way I could do what I'm doing now, just living remotely like this.
Definitely, you're in the chain. Your guru's guru, Prabhupada. Your guru's guru. So its lineage is coming. The chain is there. Connection is there. Definitely.
But I know, like from my personal experience, I felt like it was so easy when, when you and Jayanti were here and all that association that was happening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the Bhakti tree, and it was like no effort from my part. I just the wave, and I just got in the wave, and I was just being carried. But and I feel now, so challenging. I feel like Krishna is just testing me. Are you really, even without that